Hey everybody, Thrift Store Hacker back again, and this is part two of the battery pack fiasco. So, as I said last time, I had three of these rows, so 4, 8, 12 batteries actually overcharged. They were charged up past 4.5 volts, which is kind of the danger range there. So, I ended up hooking them up to another thing that I have that runs 18650 batteries and charging them down, letting them sit for a bit, charging them back up to what their top capacity is supposed to be, and then doing the discharge test and making sure that the batteries were still okay. All of my batteries checked out. I had some low cells, I had some high cells, and it was all part of the bad battery management system that I had. So I went back to this old Amazon one that I had. I think I got this for like 10 bucks. It's a 20 amp 7S BMS, cheapest one you get on Amazon. But it seems to work pretty good. Anyway, I charged all the batteries back up, put them all back into the pack here, charged the pack, everything balanced out overnight, perfect battery now. So what I'm doing now is I put a little more extra insulation in here, and the way that I'm wrapping these, this is mostly so I can easily pop out cells if I need to change one out if it goes bad. But I took some duct tape, I took some of this rubberized drawer liner, and wherever I didn't want it to stick, like here going over the BMS wiring, and wherever I didn't want it to stick, I just ran it under the tape, and it works perfectly. So I'm going to give this a few more wraps of duct tape really tight. That way when you hit a bump on the road or something, one of these batteries doesn't try to pop out of the socket. They do sit pretty tight, but any additional bracing is probably good if you're riding a bicycle. And I'm going to use some of the foam board here. You can get this at the dollar store. It's flight test approved. And I'm going to build a nicer little pack for it and get it ready to go on a ride. So here we go. Put a nice foam board all the way around it. Nice sealed box. Seems pretty durable. The BMS exposed, that way it gets a little more air over it. I doubt this will work as a heat sink, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it, make sure this doesn't overheat. Now if you notice, there's three wires coming out. You have the positive, which comes directly off the battery. You have this negative, which comes directly off the BMS over here. And I have this one that comes directly off the negative lead of the battery. That way, if this BMS blows up on me or does something stupid, and the batteries are still okay, I can bypass the BMS and still get home. So to test out the battery pack, we'll ride through Midtown and go down through the almost finished Virginia Street construction project here. And this has been a couple of year-long project, and they put down a new road surface. As you can see, my camera's not shaking all over the place, even though it's connected to the handlebars of the bike. Nice smooth road surface. Um, they put the much wider sidewalks in and trees and kind of planters along the side of the road there, and it makes Midtown look really nice. Um, I did some modifications to the bike. Basically, I reverted the controller box back to the 250 watt that came with the kit. I was testing out a 500 watt controller. It didn't do anything for the motor. I think the motor's pretty much maxed out with the 250 watt controller. So there's no reason to try to squeeze any more power out of it. I think the only thing I was generating was more heat. And I think the 250 watt box will probably give me, I don't know, a fraction of a mile range longer, but it will be a little bit more efficient. Um, the 7S4P battery that I've been running seems to do the job quite well. Um, it gets reliably 5 to 7 miles on a charge, depending on how you ride the bike. If you're just kind of leisurely riding, you'll probably get 7 miles. If you're riding like I'm riding in this video, which is pretty much top speed, which is only about 18 miles an hour on this kit, you're only going to get about 4.5, 5 miles out of it. Um, the next thing I'm going to do to improve the overall efficiency of the bike is I'm going to change the bike. I'm going to put a different frame on it, or put it all on a different frame, and find something much lighter than a beach cruiser frame, which is pretty heavy, and find much narrower tires, put some road bike tires on it. That way there's a lot less rolling resistance. That should improve the bike's range a little bit. I don't know how much, but we'll test it out before I take this kit apart, and then when we put it back together on a lighter frame, see what kind of a difference we get. It should have a pretty good difference going up a hill, because the lighter you are going up the hill, the more help that the 250 watt motor is providing. And on that beach cruiser going up the hills, sometimes you're feeling at the top of the hill like you've been on your own for a while without the motor. But anyway, that's all I have for you today. Till next time, build stuff and have fun and stay safe.